Hey there, Cassandra Kimball here from the Inner Peacemaker Parent Podcast. This is episode 39. Make peace with your money. Favorite thoughts about finances. I playfully borrowed that phrase, make peace with. I'm sure many people have said it before, but I did a 4 month mini course from one of my awesome mentors, Jody Moore, and she called it Make Peace with Food. So I think it's just on my mind of making peace with something. So I love that thought of making peace with your money, the money you've been blessed with. I just like the wording. It just feels playful to me. So that's what I'm going with today. Um, but sometimes I have had, for a long time, actually, for like years, I've had like these scarcity thoughts pop up about money. And I've been in seasons of that. And sometimes they pop up still, but I've learned to just be so kind to those thoughts when they do pop up in my head. Even though I've cleaned them up so much, cleaned up those thoughts and like helped them so much, not just push them aside. We don't want to push aside our thoughts, right? We want to look at them and just be curious and kind to them. But I've really been able to help my brain and my heart to feel more peace around money with certain thoughts and different quotes that I'm going to share with you and a few mantras that just really bring this sense of peace into my life about around money. Because I have not always had a good relationship with money, finances, budgeting, money coming in, money going out, like for bills or purchases, like for insurance. I've had big thoughts around debt, money for hobbies, vacation expenses, and so on. And I've gone through different seasons of feelings. For a long time, I feared money and just like not having enough, that feeling, that scarcity feeling of we don't have enough for our wants and even some of our needs. That big feeling. And in my Facebook group that I have now, Creating Inner Peace, one of the sweet ladies in there admitted that she feels that way. She just feels this fear and anxiety and frustration towards and around money. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so empathetic to that. I've had seasons of my life feeling like this. For one season, I completely avoided looking at our finances, like just completely avoided it. I was scared. It was such a big feeling inside of me. And it scared me to see my husband have big emotions. I didn't know how to handle big emotions back then. So I'm like, I just wanted everyone to be happy, right? It's before I learned how awesome all of our emotions are. But so when he would get big feelings about money and like start feeling angry or frustrated, I don't want to talk about money. So I was definitely in that, the flight or fight. I was just in flight. I was just like, I'm just going to avoid it. And sometimes even that freeze, right? Like it just scares me to even think about it. So that was my solution for a time, is just being scared and just avoid it. I just felt fear and scarcity. When I coached a specific mom, I was able to show her one of the gifts of going into scarcity for a season because she was going through that at the time when I coached her. And she's like, there's no gift about this feeling. And I'm like, oh, sweet, wonderful lady. You're talking to an emotions coach. I love emotions. Um, I'm like, we just want to examine it. We just want to look and see. And I was sharing my own experience that when I went into scarcity a few different times in my life with after being married and having our own money, sometimes scarcity led me to get creative and see if like there was something I could do to help my husband to be a helpmeet to him in different ways. So like one time I like went to a class that talked about coupons. Like this is a real thing. I did not know this. But I went to a class about coupons. Like, is there a way I can like save money? And I remember there was like a Relief Society activity about ways to save money. And I'm like, I am there. I want to learn. And I remember like someone sharing, you can use like half the amount of meat in the recipes that it calls for, right? Just like these tiny little things that I'm like, this is what I want to do to help my spouse right now. This is how I want to help save money and be good with the money we've been blessed with. Another time of feeling scarcity, a different season in my life, I was grateful scarcity popped up again. It helped me to get creative. Like, okay, I'm feeling this scarcity. I'm feeling like we don't have enough money. Is there something different I can do? And I remember I offered to watch somebody's little kids so that the mom could work in the school. And because I still had a little at home, and I was like, that's perfect. Our little kids can play together. I can babysit for you. And that was supportive to her. And it was a win-win, right? Because it helped me out financially. Another time I offered piano lessons. So even though that feeling doesn't feel great, right? It's coaching that lady, and she's like, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't. But if we want to get unstuck, we just need to be still with that emotion, right? Scarcity, we see you. We want to listen to that big emotion and see how we can be creative to support that feeling inside of us so that we're not just sitting stuck or in frozen mode, right? I was telling you how like we can freeze or flee, right? Um, and I very humbly, I know I have lots more to learn about money. I totally understand that. I'm just a mom here that's learned a few things that have helped me so much. So I in no way am like, I know all things now. It's just, I just wanted to share some of my favorite things that have helped me. So obviously, like I just talked about, the biggest one is to be still with that emotion and just hear it out. Just be like, what are you feeling? Right? So I love emotion work. But I also want to share some other thoughts with you too. Um, and I just need to make sure to share this that remember, thoughts are always like they're like trying on a pair of shoes. You just try on the thought and see what feels inside of you. If it doesn't help your heart or mind, just you can consider tweaking it a bit. Like if you're trying on a pair of shoes, right? Like you need to undo the laces or wear different socks or whatever. I'm just making that playful comparison of like if I'm sharing a thought with you, maybe you like part of it that I share, or none at all, or or you have another thought comes from it. I just want us to be open right now and just I'm just going to share some different things and then see if any of it supports you. So just know so much empathy is coming towards you if you have big feelings about money. So much love is coming from me to you. Um, and sorry, another moment of just I'm just remembering though when I've coached, I can see two different moms in my head. One comes from a lot of money, and she wanted to be coached on this topic about money, and she was feeling that scarcity. And then there was another mom who had less money in her bank account, and she was feeling moments of scarcity. So I just want you to know that that money trouble doesn't like automatically go away when we make more or less money. It's just gonna be here. So we want to make peace with it, right? So the first mantra that this is one of my favorites. I probably should have ended with this one, but one of my favorites that I repeated this over and over to myself, and I even put this mantra at the top of my to-do list. I say like, be still, what is needed in my life, and then I put this phrase for a season. I put, I can be a wise, honorable, and dependable steward over the money we have and will be blessed with. So I'm going to say that one more time. I can be a wise, honorable, and dependable steward over the money we have and will be blessed with. I loved that statement. That just felt so good to me. I can be wise. I can be honorable. I can be dependable steward over the money that we have. That just resonated with me so much. Other thoughts, I sometimes like to say, like, I love caring about what I've been blessed with. I love caring about it. I will learn the systems that can work for me and my family. Another time I learned about someone was sharing how we need to apologize for to the money that the way that we've treated money. Can you hear it sometimes in ourselves? We're like, oh my gosh, we don't have enough. Like you're treating it as something so negative or like it's not enough. Right? Do you hear that? It's a different way to look at it. So so one of my mentors said to just say, I'm sorry, money, for the way I've treated you in the past. Okay, so it's just a little different. It's a different way to look at it. But I'm like, that felt really like kind instead of the way I had been treating money. Like, it's just not enough. It's not enough for my family. I can't make it stretch far enough. Like, it just felt such a negative thing. And I'm like, I'm sorry that I've been treating you that way in the past. Other things I would say is like, I want to take small steps to make this possible. Now, I was meaning like to make it possible for us to have that income or to live on one income, right? Is when I was raising little kids. I want to take small steps to make this possible, right? It just felt like this creative way of um, I can do this. I can figure out how to make our money work for us. Um, Another time I used to say, I will start to pray for my abilities with money and help to learn better ways, right? Because I have certain abilities with money. Like there's certain things that I'm really good with money. And then I'm like, I want to learn or I want to pray that I can increase my ability with money. Um, I remember one time I had a really, really vivid dream, and I won't go into it here, but it felt so real that when I woke up, I just felt shaken, shook. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but you know what I mean? Like you just like, I remember staying in bed and just feeling like someone had taken me by the shoulders and shook me. That's how I felt. So I was like laying in bed and just thinking about it. And I'm like, Heavenly Father, is there anything in this dream? Like, this feels like important. Is there something I can learn from this? Um, and I just remember having the thoughts that that we can learn now how to handle the amount of money we have, even if it felt like a small amount. Like we can learn now how to handle money and how to care for money so that so that we are equipped and prepared for the future when we make more money to help others. And that thought about just like how we're preparing to receive more in this life or in the next. But for me, it's to be worthy and prepared steward for any money or anything else which the Lord's going to bless us with in the future. It was such a sweet thought. I just loved that idea of like, even if we just have a small amount of money right now, that we want to handle it so well and we want to learn how to um, take care of that money right now in a small way so we can prepare to receive more and to help in more ways, help other people. So I just thought that was great. Um, I can say I can sometimes this mantra helps with I can become better at managing my money and help my husband to be a strong helpmeet to him. Another time I wanted to say I have been very, very blessed. Sometimes I just needed to like notice what I did have. Um, I remember I think it was Brooke Castillo who would say this phrase, and she's like, "It's fun to create money." I just like the way she worded it. It's fun to create money. And she would always tie in the more money you're making, the more value you are putting into the world. Just something to think about. Um, in a class that I took from Jody Moore once a couple years ago, she taught, how do you know if the thought is healthy about money? She's like, if it places you in a place of scarcity or abundance, that's how you're going to know if that thought about money is healthy. If it places you in scarcity or if it puts you in abundance, that's how you're going to know. And she also said in that class, I just took some notes in her class, and I like this. She said, it's hard to make money if you hate money. I just thought that was interesting. And maybe instead of the word hate, if you don't like the word hate, it's not my favorite word, but maybe if you feel fear, right? Like that resonates with me. I felt fear for a while, or it feels difficult to make money. Sometimes I felt that way. So um, if I worded it that way, like, oh, it's so hard to make money, then it just has this heavy scarcity feeling to me. So I personally don't like wording it that way, but maybe that works for you. Maybe you're like, no, hard work. I need to say it that way. So whatever works for you. Remember, it's like trying on shoes, whatever works for you. Um, there are some others, there's some scriptures actually that I wanted to just read about money. Um, because it's interesting, right? That um, Peter told Simon the sorcerer that his money would perish with him, right? So that's something that we're not going to be taking with us into the next life. So sometimes we like, um, how important is money in our life? You know, there's that scripture in Jacob, before you seek for riches, seek the kingdom of God, right? And I think there is that importance of like making sure where our priorities are. Because I personally am just so grateful for money. I love that it can take care of my family and then I can be able to take care of other people when I have money. So I'm so grateful for money. President Hinckley has said um, this about our tithing, because right, tithing is part of dealing with money and finances. And so I wanted to have couple quotes about that. And he said, the fact is that tithing is the Lord's law of finance. It came of revelation from him. It is a divine law with a great and beautiful promise. It is applicable to every member of the church who has income. It's applicable to the widow in her poverty, as well as to the wealthy man in his riches. So the tithing is the Lord's law of finance, right? So we're just talking about finances. This just supports me to know this is the Lord's law of finance, right? And we love that blessing in Malachi, bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house, and prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven, just imagining these big windows open, and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. Um, and speaking of tithing, I remember when I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. Um, I don't know if he's a member of our church or not. I'm imagining so, but I have no idea. But he talked about in his book, I remember being surprised that he said that God is the best business partner you can ask for because he only asks for 10%. I just thought that was a sweet way to look at him as a business partner. So that just made me smile. I still remember when I read that years ago. Okay, just a few more quotes here. Things that have supported my brain and my heart about money. This next one comes from the self-reliance course. It's put out by the church, and it's in a section called Becoming a Wise and Faithful Steward. And it says, self-reliance is a commandment. So that's just a sentence, right? Self-reliance is a commandment. And then has a quote on the side by President Spencer W. Kimball, who said, the church and its members are commanded by the Lord to be self-reliant and independent. Okay, so there's just more things that I'm like, this is good to know that this is what God wants us to become self-reliant. It was comforting to hear Elder Eyring say this, even the most frugal spending habits and the most careful planning for employment may not be enough to ensure success, but it could be enough to allow you the peace that comes from knowing you did the best you could to provide and to nurture. I think that was one of my favorite quotes I just recently found. I'm like, oh, I love that. So even though your best efforts, it might not be enough to ensure success, like in the eyes of the world, but in your heart, right? It's going to give you that peace that comes, you like, I did the best I could. I love that one. Um, Elder L. Tom Perry, he said, there's one key word in this, by the way, in this quote. There's one key word in my brain that sticks out. And he says, avoid excessive debt. He said, necessary debt should be incurred only after careful, thoughtful prayer and after obtaining the best possible advice. We need the discipline to stay well within our ability to pay. So to me, that key, like underlined star word in there is excessive. Avoid excessive debt. Um, although, oh, another thought I wanted to share is my husband and I, in the more recent months, have added in something we learned from my sister-in-law. Thank you, Paula, for teaching us this. Um, so her in her family, there's some different needs spiritually, and so what they've done for their family nights instead of having a spiritual thought is that it's their version of family night, right? We make it work for our families. And she's decided her and her husband do a financial night and that they do it once a week and they talk about money. And so for my family, my husband and I love that idea. So we do like our regular lesson on Sundays together with my kids. And then we spread it out. It's too much for us to do a lesson and a game. It's just, we've tried this. It was too much for us. So we have a lesson on Sunday, and then Mondays we do a game together. And we thought we can just add in a little thought, a quick thought about money. And so we love that. So we've had a routine now of right before we play our game, I'll share a little thought about money, or my husband will, about budgeting or things that are going well in our finances or not going well. And it's just to be open about money. We just want our kids to hear us talk about money and to share those thoughts with them. So thank you, Paula, for that wonderful idea. I thought that was awesome. Another thought about money, it sounds kind of different, but it's still about money, is when your kids want something at the store. So I used to say things like, we don't have the extra money for that. We can't afford that. I'm not paying for that. You don't need that. I say a variety of those kind of things. And you totally can. Again, these are just thoughts. Remember, trying on them like shoes, see if they fit or for you or not. You totally can choose any of those that you want. I prefer not to use those anymore. It just doesn't feel good to me to say, I'm not paying for that or you don't need that. Like it doesn't feel good to me anymore. But but I have been liking trying out like a new shoe, right? Been liking to try out to show empathy of like so when they show me a toy, I'm like, that is super cool, or that's so cute, or right, whatever they're looking at. I'm like, that is a really cool toy. And then I usually say the next thing of, you can put that on your list. Or I'll ask if they want to use their own money to buy it themselves. Um, that to me it just feels good, right? We're trying on those thoughts. That feels so good to me of showing empathy of like, yeah, that's super cool. And then you can put it on your list. And when I say that, it's like my kids have a list of I take pictures on my phone of if anything they want at the store and they really like it, we take a picture and we put on a shared note on my phone so they can keep it. So they know, hey, if it's my birthday or something and that's what I want to choose from, right? So it doesn't go away. I'm not belittling what they want. It just feels good to me. And then I ask if they want to use their own money to buy it. Um, yeah, my 6-year-old just recently had an experience spending some of her own money to buy a scoop of ice cream. It's like $4 for this one scoop of ice cream. In my head, I'm like screaming, like, oh my gosh, you can buy a whole thing of ice cream. But I didn't say anything. I let her have the experience. And I was like, you can have ice cream at home if you want. You don't have to buy this here. And she really wanted it. And I was like, hey, you can use your money if you'd like to. And she did. And she had a little bit of buyer's remorse later on that day. And just in my head, I was like secretly so happy. I'm like, she's having these experiences with money. I love it. But I just gave her lots of empathy. Like outside of me, I was like, oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. I sometimes feel that way too after I buy something. Right. Again, it's just that empathy of like, that's just been such a game changer in my parenting. Like, I I wish I would have done that sooner in my parenting. So of just like that phrase of sometimes I do too, right? It's just such a kind way to say, yeah, sometimes I feel that way too after I buy something. I love that. That's one of my favorite tools that I can share today. So that's what I have for you. I sincerely hope something in here was supportive to you and it can just be for your thoughts about money. If I can ever support you more, please reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you through if you still have like really big feelings towards money or any other topic, if you have some big feelings. I want to help you feel peaceful about it. I want to help you work through your emotions and the peace that God can offer you. So I'd love to support you. If you need any support, you can check out my website at creobalance.com for more details if that can help you. Or you can join our Facebook group. It's called Creating Inner Peace, Christ-Centered Self-Care Tools for Mom. So just Creating Inner Peace, you look that up and you'll find us. And I would love to have you join. So, all my best to you in your noble efforts to make peace with money that you've been blessed with in your life. Take care.